welcome to CrowdCast, which is the official podcast of the CrowdPrep Institute. And basically, we've got several partners. We just want to start off by listing them. So we've got Debate on the Daily, which is a cross-platform smartphone application, basically that equips students with the tools to express their voice. And we've also partnered with several tournaments, such as the Discord Season Championship and the Quarantine Classic. So yeah, how about you guys? So do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yes. I'm Rishit. I'm the Director of Treasury at CrowdPrep Institute. And I'm also going to be working on this podcast with Arik. And Nicholas, you can introduce yourself now.
Yeah, sure. I'm Nicholas. I'm the Executive Director of CrowdPrep Institute, and I'm hanging around here with my friends in the CrowdCast. This is cool.
And hi, my name's Arik, and I'm the Director of Debate for the CrowdPrep Institute. So, yeah, now that we've introduced ourselves very briefly, let's just kick off this podcast with how we got into debate. The focus of this podcast episode is primarily on, the Institute, how we got into debate, our favorite parts of debate, things like that. So how about we start with that? How we got into debate. Rashid?
Yeah. So, this started out in 7th grade, actually 8th technically. So our teacher's son, who did circuit policy, just came to introduce to our class. And the first thing he does is he just makes us run through this long slideshow. And I decided in that slideshow, like the very moment, that I do extemp because like oral language, all of that stuff, where I had to like memorize stuff and speak about it, it gave me PTSD. So I was like, okay, if I'm doing one thing like in speech and debate, it's extemp. And then I was like, okay, this activity seems cool and all, nothing interesting. But then our teacher's son proceeds to start spreading, and that's when I found it very interesting. I just found like, I want to spread too. I want to talk that fast. Like, I want to read a book in 10 seconds. So yeah, that's how I got interested into the activity. But it all started like while joining. When I signed up for the course, I didn't even know like speech and debate was a class. I kept thinking it was just like an after-school elective. So when I signed up for it, I just see like, oh, okay, forensics. Someone talks about everyone's doing it. Okay, let's do it. And I wanted to be a doctor. I still want to be a doctor. And I thought it was like something about like medical science, like forensic science. And I join it. And like on the first day of class, we're learning about policy debate. I'm like, bro, what? I didn't expect this to be. Yeah, I didn't
Not
expect this.
remotely related to CSI.
Yeah, I didn't expect policy debate to be related to CSI, especially when the topic was about selling arms sales to Saudi Arabia. But then we had like a debate camp too in August of that year. And it was pretty interesting. We had pizza and we had debates at the end. But all this like learning for the 4 days, that was cool and all. But the last day of the debate tournament, that's where I got interested in the activity. It was mostly the competing that I enjoyed a lot. So I did a few tournaments last year, but my interest like grew by a lot again this year. I'm in my sophomore year, by the way. So technically rising junior. So it grew a lot this year when they were like, do you want to do an invitation? And the first invitation I did was Jack House CSULB, which is a pretty big West Coast invitational and is an LD bid, but I did it in extemp, specifically novice extemp. And I was pretty bad at extemp at the point. But I ended up getting third somehow, like just a bit of last minute prep and stuff. I ended up getting third. So I was like, okay, extemp seems cool. Let's do big tournaments. And I did Florida Blue Key. Did horrible at it, very bad. But I was like, okay, now this is really fun. That's how I was doing Florida Blue Key. That's how I like found out about like the online debate community, for example, like the big debate server and all of that. And from there, I just learned about bids and stuff. And then my main breakthrough in extemp happened at La Costa Canyon, which is a policy bid, but also has like extemp bids and stuff like speech bids. And in extemp, I just registered for fun because like I wanted to go because the rest of my school was going. But I ended up bidding at it, so I was like, okay, so I was like, okay, wow, this is something cool. Maybe I could be. And my coach told me that I was the first one for my school, so that was a pretty exciting moment. And then I just wanted to do it again. So I tried in a tournament in Wyoming, and it worked out. And then soon, I just started doing tournaments over and over, getting interested in the activity, qualified to states, nationals, and all of that. And then just found myself entangled in like the community more, other than like the competing activity in itself. I found the community very enjoyable too. So that's how I got into debate and like started enjoying it. And then I guess Arik can go next.
Sure. So, yeah, I got into debate through like in art school. So I attended like an art school in like middle school, and we got introduced to speech and debate as a class, and I found it pretty interesting. The first ever event that I learned about was Congress, and I had like quite a bit of pressure because my teacher put me on the side for like a bill that I didn't like. It was very AF heavy. Basically, it was like charging people for texting and driving, and the odds were heavily stacked against me. But yeah, I really enjoyed that experience, like the debate. It like that feeling. I got like a adrenaline rush from like competing. It was very fun. I could just continue to debate and debate. And I started in seventh grade, and here I am in ninth grade, rising sophomore now. And I'm looking to give back to the community. I'm looking to grow my skills to continue competing. And just as like a little, I don't know, just like a little briefing thing about me and like my achievements. Um, so I found success relatively early on in like my debate career with like being the finalist slash champion thing for the NSDA Congressional Debate Authorship Challenge, and that was part of the MS Speech Challenge as a middle schooler in eighth grade, so last year. And I also was the state champion for the Florida Civics and Debate Initiative and was the runner-up for the Florida Forensic League Novice State Tournament. And I placed at like the local PBCFL circuit over 20 times over my lifetime so far, over a span of 3 years. And what else? Oh yeah, I placed at like some like bid tournaments for TOC, like semifinalists, like made out rounds specifically. That's what I meant. I have over 350 NSDA points, but once my teacher approves it, that'll be over 600. That's quite a bit, but yeah. I mean, my main focus is to, continue expanding my skills because debate's very helpful. I found it to really give me that boost of confidence that I need when speaking to others and when talking to large groups of people. I think that's debate's like greatest utility, not necessarily to like stack up like trophies and like heaps of metal and plastic. In the long run, it's pretty meaningless, but it's the skills that I've developed, the people that I've met, the community that I've tried to contribute to by being part of this institute that I think means the most to me. So, Nicholas?
Yeah, so Arik went to an art school. I went to a STEM school in middle school. So basically, I started in sixth grade. Going into it, I got to pick electives. I picked like electronic engineering and marine robotics. And speech and debate was like one of my last choices. I got put into speech and debate. I went through it for an entire semester, and I hated it. I despised it because we went through every single interpretation event possible. We went through impromptu, original oratory, declamation. I was better at some things than others, but I kind of dreaded coming to class every day. And then, like, on the very first day of the second semester, we got introduced to congressional debate. And I found that the most confidence inspiring thing is being able to talk about something you're knowledgeable about, and then everything follows after that. So in sixth grade, I basically went to only one tournament, and I think that's actually where I met Arik because we're on the exact same circuit and we competed in the same chamber like once or twice, I think. And I placed, which was really satisfying. So like the entire summer, I was looking forward to coming back and doing debate again. And so throughout seventh grade, I continued doing it. I like got first place a few times on my local circuit. It was very satisfying, the whole thing. And I generally just got better at Congress. And then, throughout that, I got elected presidents of speech and debate and stuff at my school, and it was neat. We had a pretty good team. Like, again, STEM school. We didn't have a massive speech and debate team, but it was really satisfying to like go there with a tiny team, but get like a bunch of different people placing in events. which was really neat. It was actually really awe-inspiring for me and my entire school to be able to do that. And then I also got into LD throughout 8th grade because all the debate ended up being online. And so I basically just for a week straight watched hours and hours of like video resources on YouTube and stuff, and just went to a local tournament and got first. And I figured it was really easy, so I just kept doing that a bunch of times, and I think I placed first maybe 5 times throughout the year at locals, and I'm really looking forward to like trying to NSDA qual next year in LD and trying to TOC qual next year in Congress. So yeah, I really enjoy all the events. I really enjoy the community. Like I love my circuit. I'm very grateful to have a competitive local circuit, which I think did wonders for me early on. And it's great to be able to work with CrowdPrep now and work on giving back to everyone through like a crowdsourced learning platform.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. So, I think we kind of already talked about this a bit, but like, what are like our favorite events and like the justification for that, as well as what we're learning now? So, Rishit, you want to start on that?
Regarding the issue of favorite events, there's a lot of things that are just fun, but the main idea is the ability to compete. That's the funnest part. Like, and I'll list something else too. Competing with other people is like, of course, you get those trophies and all that stuff, and like if you win and stuff. But like the sheer fact of being able to like talk about stuff, like I didn't know China was colonizing West Africa until I found out at Nats like last week. And so it's just like so much stuff you get to learn. And this stuff applies to like a bunch of other places. And like the more you compete with people and you like communicate with your opponents, if your opponents are like nice and friendly, and which most of everyone is nice and friendly in the community, you can like talk with them, have fun with them. Like after round two at like in person tournaments. So that's the like the fun part about competing, and you can like learn about experiences. Like for example, at Nats, there's someone from like Georgia talking about like how their internet had problems because of like ransomware attacks and all that stuff. And there's so many things you get to explore. Like I've been judged by some judges from China, United Kingdom, South Korea. I've had a lot of international judges, and then overall, like looking at their perspective, understanding how they think about things is what makes the activity fun. And then the second most fun thing that I'm pretty sure most people can relate to is real life tournaments. Many people haven't done real life tournaments, mostly because like it's been online for like a year and a half. But real life tournaments are probably like one of the funnest parts of the activity, mostly because like of course there's the food. Food's like the most epic thing. Then you also get to like travel to places, like meet new people and all that. You can like play hide and seek. For example, we had a tournament at a local high school that was reportedly haunted. So we had some interesting times playing hide and seek over there at the debate tournament. And it was just fun stuff, just like enjoying the place, and like other than the rounds and like the intensity of the competition, just enjoying the stuff you get along with it as well.
I totally have to agree with that. Actually, I think there's so much bonding associated with the whole activity. Like going there with friends and eating at Chipotle or something before going to the tournament and dressing up. Man, the whole thing comes together and it's really enjoyable. Like for the first few times because it's so novel and everything, and it's like a really competitive event with totally extroverted people, which for the first time was so unusual, but after the first few times, it got really funny. Honestly, like going to tournaments and finding flooded toilets and not being able to find your chamber room, it's exciting. And going through it with your teammates and everything, it's a fun time.
Definitely, yeah. I find personally that, yeah, I think that in-person, events and tournaments and all of that, it's quite the experience. I do have to agree. I think it's very inspiring to meet people who have similar interests and have prepared really like well and have done like a lot of research and have really put in the effort to compete and to do well. I think that in the long run, all of the events that I'm interested in, and I think all of the events as a whole in speech and debate really involve like a lot of work and a lot of practice. Definitely, practice is something that I think is a factor in all of the events. I personally enjoy Congress, but I also do enjoy other events. I'm getting into, things like World Schools. I've done XDemp debate, things like that. I think those really help with the research aspect of things and preparing things quickly and on the spot. I think as a whole, all of the events, every single event in speech and debate, they really help in real life. They have excellent applications in real life. And I think for that reason and the experience that comes with it, speech and debate as a whole, it's really an unparalleled activity. And I think that everyone should have the opportunity to be able to learn debate in the most equitable and the most accessible way, with having the resources available to them, with having the coaches and people willing to teach them. I think it's this community that really contributes to the beauty of speech and debate. And that actually brings me to the CrowdPrep Institute. So as we mentioned earlier, Rishit's the Director of Treasury, Nicholas is the Executive Director, and I'm the Director of Debate for the CrowdPrep Institute, which aims to maximize the education and access of actually both middle school and high school speech and debate with crowdsourced public coaching and lectures, especially among those with limited access to such resources. So yeah, that is our mission, and we aim to, have this podcast, the CrowdCast, where we can talk about, debate. What we can talk about various topics, and be able to provide those resources and to help out. And
the initial idea behind it was inspired by the very fact that coaching was really expensive for some people. Although some could afford it, many could not. Same with camps, tournaments, travel. Everything was becoming very expensive. It inspired us to think of it.
Yeah, it's a very unique and original model, where basically coaches come from the community and they work on like a kind of one on many basis in the server. And I think one thing that sets us apart from other organizations that have tried to do similar things is that this is very much on the ground. It is very much, as face to face as online can be, because you're having casual conversations with your coaches. You can ping them on Discord anytime. You can talk to them. They can spontaneously host lectures, and you can go there and you can get advice and feedback from like top competitors in the nation. And what's really amazing is that people do this. Coaches and people in the community who have had success want to give back, and this is a brilliant platform for them to do so, and for people being able to learn from them.
Yep. And speaking of coaches, many of our coaches have had success at the national tournament the last weekend too. More specifically, the World Schools debate teams based at Violet, consisting of Rodrigo Trujillo, Ebenezer Apaya, Diego Castillo, all coaches at CrowdPrep Institute who actually championed the national tournament.
definitely, yeah. And it's not just limited to them. We've got a lot of other people in many other events, like people making it to triples in World Schools, people making Senate finals in Congress, Senate semis, House semis, making octafinals in XDemp, and breaking in a ton of supplementals. Cough, cough, Rishit. We offer a volunteer-based platform, and everything is free of charge for students. And we're really looking to expand and to offer this, like our wonderful, array of coaches that are willing to help out people in their respective events.
Yep. And then we've also created some tools to help with that, including a bot.
Yeah. So let's get to that. So it's called CrowdPrep Bot. And I actually had this idea. I noticed that on Tab Room, there were a lot of tournaments going on. And that's very common, actually. Ever since last year, online tournaments have become the reality. And they've been very common. And I think, in my view, they're very useful and they're very accessible to whoever wants to debate and you're not just reliant on in-person tournament availability in order to practice and to learn. So seeing that there's this proliferation of online tournaments and competition, I wanted to find a way to streamline tournament resources and make sure that people can find out what tournaments are available to them and they can see information associated with that tournament. So that's why I had the idea of fixing the CrowdPrep Institute that I intend on spreading to many other debate servers, so then people can see what tournaments are available to them. Definitely, spread this bot, and we're definitely looking to partner with more tournaments who want like this resource, and not to mention it's free. So in order to make sure that people can use this bot, I did not want to charge anything. I did not want to charge any organization or any individual who wanted to have this bot on their Discord server, because I think it's important to stick by the principles that I've learned. I've learned from many amazing people that have offered their services, that have offered their coaching, and for free. So I wanted to give back to the community, and I think that with my programming and coding skills, I was definitely able to pair that with my desire to help people. So yeah. I think, wow, it's been like, so it's been like 30 minutes, has it?
Oh, like 22.
22, interesting, yeah. I mean, cool. I think that unless we want to talk about anything else, we'll conclude our podcast for today. And this is only our first episode. We do intend on creating more to talk about really any and all debate topics from A to Z. And this was just a little episode where we wanted to talk about our experiences in debate and how CrowdPrep ties into that and what we aim to do in the future. So thank you so much for
Also,
listening.
if you want to join the CrowdPrep Discord, it'll be in the pinned comments and also in the description.
Yeah. And if you want to reach out to me in order to have CrowdPrep bot on your server, feel free to DM me on Discord at ARIK #5203. Once again, ARIK #5203, and none of that was capitalized. So yeah, we hope to see you soon. I mean, not see you. We can't actually see you, but we hope that you will continue listening to us, and maybe you'll even join us at the CrowdPrep Institute. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
will bless your ears soon. Bye.